You know, one of the things that I think I love about this collection of works is that it was an opportunity for me to really go back and think about my grandmother and what she meant in my own life. And a lot of the collection here are glimpses of my past, of my memory of me being in her home. And for her, I think she did an amazing job of creating an environment that was loving, and it was just a safe place. And so a lot of these pieces are a reflection of that legacy that she's passed down to myself, and I feel like I can speak for my cousins and their children even, and that's home. The funny thing about my grandmother is she hated being photographed. And I thought, well, gosh, you know, you are everywhere in this home. I can so easily photograph her without photographing her physically. You know, one of the pieces in the show is titled Waiting. And it is a picture of a chair that she used to sit in and read. And she would often sit and watch. She called them her stories. They were actually soap operas. And I thought, what a perfect portrait of my grandmother. That's how I remember her. I remember the quilt, I remember the colors, I remember the light streaming through the window. I mean, and so I thought, that's perfect. I don't need to photograph you physically. There are also parts in the collection of her hands, which I always felt were amazing. They were amazingly strong and resilient. To me, they were just beautiful. They represented everything that I hoped to be as a mother myself. And so those are other portraits of my grandmother. Probably my favorite one is one called Prayer, where she's sitting at her dining room table, which is the heart of the home, where much, you know, discussion took place, and her hands are folded. And that was very typical to see my grandmother sitting that way. And she was such a silent force, I think. And that really sort of captured who she was as a woman and as a person. One of the things about photography that I think I find so lovely and so adequate and so universal is that, you know, imagery I think we can all connect with. It even transcends cultural, you know, lines and barriers and time and things like that. And, you know, a lot of these images are very raw. And so you'll see images of my grandmother where it shows motion and she's moving. What grandmother sits down too long, right? And so, so that's a little bit behind why my images are the way they are, because I really just want to take time and I want to hold it hostage. That sort of explains some of the visual, the design elements behind why my photography is presented the way it is in this collection. One of the images just around the corner, it is an exterior image, which I often didn't do. I mean, when I did the shoot, I think I just wanted to be with her, so I spent most of my time inside. But one of the things she would always tell me is she'd go, just around the corner, it's different. You know, whether it be just around the corner of history, just around the corner of, you know, of time, just around a corner of the season that you're in your life, it's different, it changes. And that's hope. And you're talking about a lady that was born in 1915, who lived till 2010, who literally watched history unfold. And all this has taken place in her home, if you think about it, you know. So just around the corner is, I think, symbolic of that change and that hope. And it's the unseen. Sometimes corners are blind, we don't know. You know, we just turn them, and when we turn them, we're faced with what we see. The house is no longer there. It's no longer the home that we, you know, knew it as, but it's someone else's home. And I know her desire for those people, whoever they are, would be that they would find the same joy and warmth and refuge that her family found in that home.